explore the wisdom of the revered Narada Bhakti Sutras, a cornerstone of Hindu devotion, with His Holiness Swami Jyotirmayananda. Experience 45 enlightening lessons on the essence of Bhakti Yoga. Discover the path to pure love for God and transcend the material world. Embrace the teachings that have guided devotees for centuries. Attain spiritual perfection through devotion. Prepare to understand the depths of divine love. Find your path to spiritual enlightenment. Trust in the sutras. Follow these instructions. Be blessed with devotion. And now, His Holiness Swami Jyotirmayananda.
Om Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kansachanurmardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Om. Adorations to Lord Krishna, the preceptor of the universe, destroyer of the forces of darkness, and bestower of immortality. We continue our talk on Narada Bhakti Sutras. The Sutra number 25, giving insight into the importance of bhakti, devotion to God. Always keep in view that there are 4 aspects of yoga. If you are focusing your mind on action, the path is known as karma yoga. If your mind is focused on emotion, feeling, the path is called bhakti yoga, path of divine love. Focus on will aspect, and called Raja Yoga, the path of meditation and reasoning. That becomes your focus, then it's called Jnana Yoga, the path of wisdom. In a general way, wisdom is considered the highest. But the path of wisdom is very subtle. The Upanishad frightens you by saying it's a razor's edge. Shurasya dhara. So, the path of bhakti, on the other hand, accomplishes what you attain by wisdom, and accomplishes it in a very smooth way. To be more practical, never ignore devotion. Do your actions with devotion, then action becomes karma yoga. Allow your emotions to move towards God. There is a big difference between sentimental relations based on human emotions. That's what a person knows about love. But whatever you know about love is a reflection, a little spark of the divine love. Human love can be intense, can be very profound. But its profundity increases if you go on understanding. You are loving God in human being. So therefore, in all relations, your mind can be magnanimous in a spiritual way. You love your child, you are loving God in the child. In husband and wife, you are loving God in each other. In brother, sister, in no matter whatever, friends. And if you are very advanced, even in enemies. Thanks for the enemies, because they keep you alert. And if devotion has blended with your practice of meditation, the meditation will be profound, and you will not deviate. Because meditation can make you aware of psychic powers. If devotion is there, you will not be carried away or tempted by psychic powers. You will move on towards enlightenment. And wisdom, that is the highest wisdom, that and supreme devotion, they are two aspects of the same coin. One side is pure understanding, absolute reasoning. Another side, absolute love. So if you kept bhakti in focus, you will never go wrong. All other yogas will find their fulfillment. They will all blossom in a perfect way. Let me quote to you a statement from Bhagavad Puran about bhakti. Yanasthaya naro rajan na pramadyeta karhichit dhavannimilya vanetre na skhalet na pate diha. A sage is giving teaching, and that teaching is, if you adopt the path of bhakti, there is profound benefit, as if you are placed on a royal path. You may run with open eyes or eyes closed. You will not be injured. You will not fall. You will not stumble. And once adopted bhakti, you will not procrastinate. These are the pitfalls in other paths. You adopt very serious plan in karma yoga, in Raja yoga, in Dhyana yoga. And then you may say, well, I'm not in the proper mood, so tomorrow I will start more seriously. Let's study the Brahma Sutras, Upanishads tomorrow. But if you have adopted bhakti, which is loving God, love is something that you don't wait. A mother never says to the child, no, I'm not in the mood of loving you. It doesn't require any preparation. So very commencement of your spiritual movement, you have been introduced to a mystical path which allows your mind to go on tasting more and more and more. Even the ant gives you the teaching. The moment ant has tasted little honey, it will go on after it. You may drive it away, but then behind your back, it will come back again. Not only comes back in a whole train of. Simile is simple, but the message is profound. If you are moving towards God, the whole chain of people also move towards God, because you cannot make movement towards God without lifting up many people. And that you do it unconsciously. A flower will not waft its fragrance without inspiring so many minds. So bhakti has a profound effect on you, on people around you. So once you have understood it and adopted it, very simple practices, start doing your japa. Learn the art of surrender to God. and bring simple teachings of bhakti in your daily life. Learn to adore God in each other. Adoration not in physical way. If you do that physically, there is no harm. But adoring means understanding people, helping them to evolve in a proper way, not condemning people, controlling your anger and irritability and your ego. All that becomes implied. When bhakti is there in your heart, all this becomes easier. You love someone, then you don't see the defects. Then you are ready to forgive, forget. Question doesn't arise. No mother looks at the child and asks for forgiveness because he kicked something. Question of forgiveness doesn't arise. In 27th Sutra, Ishwarasyapi abhimana dveshitvat dainya priyatvat cha. In relation to God, he dislikes ego but loves humility. In the path of love for God, if love is increasing in a proper way, ego dissolves. Even in relative form of love, even in the animal kingdom, look at a mother goes far and wide to pick up some food, comes back into the nest and pours down that food into the throat of those kids, nosy kids. However, that type of love is limited by instinct. There comes a time the mother no longer holds the same attitude. The kid has grown up, and rather the mother kicks the kid out of the nest. You're on your own. In human world, you don't adopt that crudeness. Some people may be. What I'm trying to say, love that is experienced in relation to people, relatives, friends, that love remains always limited. The love that you are developing to God, that love has no limit. And if love is limited, you don't have the experience of profundity of feeling. Human feeling is conditioned. You love your child tenderly. And suppose I give you a little illustration. Your child has gone to playing with boys, and you are waiting and waiting, and now it's evening time, and a child comes towards you. Due to darkness, you don't recognize. Rather, the child has put on the cap of some other child. So you think this is a neighbor's one and drive him away. You don't have the same sense of compassion. What are you doing here? Get away from here. But the child comes forward, Mommy, where can I go? That is a different matter. Human feeling is so conditioned. Imagine your project is to discover cosmic feeling. God has given you a taste of it. In a conditioned way, you peck on little grains of divine feeling in all relations. But those are all changing situations. It doesn't stay. All relations, all types of love, they don't stay because it's a world that changes, transient. Your soul is never fulfilled. In each embodiment, you had so many relations, so many experiences of love in different ways. But they were all like sparks moved away. And your mind goes on working for it. Two things are very important for the mind: to love and to be loved. And in both directions, one continues to fail from life to life until your mind becomes centered on it is God who is being loved. It is God who loves me. So if people around you are supporting you, loving you, must realize deep down it's God through them. If you are able to express good feeling towards others, it's God reaching out to others. You become an instrument. So mind begins to recognize God as the reality behind all objects of love. If that happens, the taste for God realization, the taste for moving towards God becomes so profound that mind moves on day by day. It doesn't have to wait. So there is no procrastination in the mind, and your sadhana becomes constant. However, even to reach that state, there is need for patience. God dislikes your ego. The statement of Kabira. Kabira man nirmal bhayo jaise ganga neer. Paache lage hari firay kahat Kabir Kabir. First, Kabir is a great saint, a poet. First he complains that wherever I turn to find God, God moves away. See, to give you subtler understanding, you heard a good lecture of bhakti. You are a mother, go home. You have decided I will love God in my. But the moment the child came crying or did something wrong, the idea God is child moves away. So God goes on moving away. As long as there is ego within your mind, it repels the awareness that God is everywhere. Kabira says, Kabira man nirmal bhayo. The moment mind became free of ego-based impurities, Pache lage hari firay. You don't have to think of where is God. He gives a simple illustration. God becomes like a pet dog. Pet dog goes after him. Pache lage hari firay. The Lord is from behind you, calling you. Don't go so fast. To understand these two states, the state where mind is in the grip, under the grip of ego, egoistic vision, and God is everywhere. But the moment that ego has veiled the vision of mind, you don't find God anywhere. Because you don't find God anywhere, mind is filled with stress. Because now you are holding the world on the basis by your ego. You think by your ego you are sustaining your health. By your ego you are managing your house. By your ego you are performing your job or whatever. Everywhere the ego. And ego acts like a very great scholar. It makes you think you are much better. Because now you have more information. You can just work with computer and you can look back into the past, how many times people suffered like you and who are they, and you have the whole history. Ego has amazing type of resources in the modern world. The resources are so many that there is a confusion. What should you adopt? For every problem, there are 1,000 solutions. But once you develop a taste of divine presence within you, why should I vex my ego? How should I keep the mind under stress? Let the ego resign. The moment ego relaxes, you realize already the divine process goes on. You are sustained by God. Not for a single moment you are rejected. I've told you a parable, I can repeat again. It's a camel. For a caravan of camels, a camel became loose in a desert and went on. It was an evening time. They started moving towards bushes. And the rope was being dragged as the camel went on, the rope by which the camel is already tied. As camel moved on, a rat caught hold of that rope. The rat saw only the rope. And just by curiosity, the ratish caught hold of the rope. And within minutes, the rat was recognized how great it was. It was leading a big camel. And he believed it was all his intelligence that enabled him to lead the camel. Camel saw the rat, was abused, and allowed himself to be led by the rat. But there came a spot where there was a little puddle of water. The rat stopped. For the rat, it is like an ocean. And the camel said, Master, Master, why are you stopping? The rat said, you want me to be drowned? I can't go through that. Camel said, come, jump on my back. And the rat jumped upon his back. Camel crossed over. Rat again came down. And camel allowed the rat to have the fancy. Ego has the same role. Ego is the rat. Whenever you are very happy and doing things, you think you are so powerful. And your mind believes that everything you have to resolve it. So you think of all the past, all the memories flood in, and negative, positive. Sometimes if you are with weaker nervous system, then all the negative floods into your mind. And that enormity of negative brings depression, deep depression. And it's difficult to handle. But if you learn the art of dealing with your ego, letting to understand it is not the ego. God has been working, evolving things. All the negative things you remember, they are not negative. They are all divine plan. God is shaping you, just like a pot maker shapes pots. And when the pots are being shaped, sometimes they become misshapen. So they are reshaped again. So, past should not pressure your mind. Future should not hang on your mind like whether will I get this or not. The present should open up. But if you are close to the rat, past and present, they suffocate your mind. But let the rat climb upon the back. That is to say, let that spirit of surrender enter your heart. Once that profound surrender enters, with the deep understanding that thereby the love that dwells in your heart blossoms. Human love is limited, just in family, within few people. You have loved millions of people, but they are all around you. You don't love them anymore. From life to life, you have loved countless people. But once you love God within you, then you love all, past, present, and future. You become the ocean, then you love all the waves. You are just a wave, then there is problem. Therefore, ego becomes an obstacle. Ego takes various forms. Subtle pride. The pride of accomplishment. When bhakti is there, devotion, ego goes on melting. But because you have an instinctive taste of the profound joy that wells up in your heart, as the ego relaxes. But if you are lacking bhakti, then your mind is calculative. Yesterday I was in 4th degree of meditation. Today I am in 3rd degree. Now I will be going to Savitarka, Nirvitarka, Vichara. So your mind is calculating. And for 7 days I have been in that high level of meditation. And you ask others, did you have that experience? Already you have made up your mind to view yourself superior. Now I'm going to give you one story from the Ramayana, which you have heard also before. Narada, once upon a time, practiced intense austerity. And always it is a story that Indra becomes upset. Indra is the god of heavenly kingdom, not the kingdom of heaven of the Bible. This is the astral plane of pleasure. Indra is the lord of that. Whenever any person does great austerity or an act of profound virtue, Indra becomes upset. He thinks that you are going to acquire his position. This is the language adopted in the Puranas. It's an allegorical presentation. What it means that whenever you start doing virtuous deed, nature plans to give you a test. Otherwise, you become very comfortable. I have not been angry for whole month. So I'm first class controller of anger. The moment that idea comes, Indra has become upset. Immediately a challenge comes in your life. And suddenly you realize all that you said you have control has stumbled and you have lost. So with the story of Narada, Indra sent all the highest of temptations, Cupid god and all types. And Narada remained unperturbed. Finally, all the temptations sent by Indra and Indra himself, they bowed down at the feet of Narada. That you are the greatest. But Narada, at that time, felt very humble. But then, very soon, when all that scene changed, Narada was alone. Suddenly the idea came to his mind. Even Shiva was not able to combat against. He had to open his third eye. As that pride enters in his mind, Lord Vishnu creates a drama. But there is a story. The first he comes to Lord Vishnu. He sees in Vaikuntha. And Lord Vishnu, knowing already, because he is all-knowing, says to Narada, how is it after I'm seeing you after a long time? And Narada then started saying, though Narada was already told by Shiva, don't say this to Lord Vishnu. But there are many details. How Narada tells how he was able to keep his mind under control even when he was assailed by greatest of temptations. And then he turned to Vishnu and said, but just by your grace. Lord Vishnu also pampered him, saying, that's easy for you. People who simply think of you, Narada, they conquer all that. So this was not a very great thing for you to attain. Nevertheless, he put him into an experience. Narada left Vishnu, and as he was moving on in his own way, he finds a kingdom. Elegant personalities. He had not seen that place before. And there, cut the story short, he meets the king. And the king has a marriageable daughter, princess. And she has already invited many suitors so that his daughter will be married to one whom she chooses. It's old style. And seeing Narada, the king invites him, brings the princess before him, and asks Narada, can you tell about her destiny and astrology and bless her? But instead of all that, Narada fell in love with the princess. He said certain things, but deep down he said, I should be the suitor. So many people, but he looked at himself, his body was rugged. But then suddenly idea flashed in his mind. Who is most beautiful in the whole world? Most handsome? Lord Vishnu. Let me borrow his body. You borrow coats, Ruth. Immediately he invoked Lord Vishnu. Lord Vishnu appeared said, tell me, Narada, what do you want? Narada said, I want to marry the princess. And in order to do that, please favor me. I have been your devotee. I have sung your songs always. I carry my veena always. Please, it's just a little thing to favor. Give me your body. Give me that look of yours. You can make me all the time beautiful and handsome. But if you feel not to do that, at least let me get the princess. Narada says, I will favor you exactly the same way the doctor favors a patient. That means he will not give everything the patient wants. Narada didn't understand. Vishnu disappeared, and Narada looked at himself. He was divine. As far as he can see, everything was divine. Only one thing he couldn't see is the face. And Lord Vishnu gave him a monkey face. With a monkey face and a beautiful body, he looked horrible. He came into the Swayamvara, where so many suitors had come, and he joined with them. And the princess comes with a big garland to choose any one of them, and there she will put a garland. And that would become her husband. But when she turned towards Narada, suddenly there was a shock in her mind. She moved away and went to another area. Narada thought she didn't see him. He got up and moved in that area. Princess ran away from that area. Few times Narada had to do that. And then there were two Shivaganas, attendants of Shiva, like the journalists of today. They had gone there just curious what Narada is doing. When he saw Narada so agitated, the Shivagana said to him, there is a pool of water just near you. Go there and see. Then we'll know why we are laughing. Narada goes there, looks his face horrible. Immediately he curses those two ganas. May you become demons. And then, while all that was going on, Lord Vishnu himself comes. And the princess, who was Lakshmi Devi, garlands Lord Vishnu. This whole thing was a magic. Narada encounters Lord Vishnu and curses Lord Vishnu. That just like you have ridiculed me by monkey face and made me suffer, you are also going to suffer. Suffer for the same lady, the same princess. That's another story. See, Rama Avatar. Lord Vishnu incarnates as Rama. Lakshmi incarnated as Sita. And Rama played the drama of being separated from Sita. And during that time, it was the monkey army that helped me. This monkey face you gave to me, that monkey will be the help. Monkeys and bears. The story has such profound mystical implications. The idea is God incarnates into the world for removing ego in his devotees. That's the divine project. The entire world has been created by God for nothing substantial. To remove your ego and allow your mind to expand and let your intellect become intuitional. Once that happens, the whole world vanishes. The world is being experienced through your conditioned mind. A dream is experienced in the same way. You wake up, dream is no more. So, through Narada's story, the scripture tells you that God deals with your pride, your ego, egotistic way, the same way as he dealt with Narada. And thanks to Narada, that Lord incarnate. The very purpose of God's incarnation is to help people to overcome their ego. Because all negative karmas arise on the basis of ego-ridden mind. And the purpose of bhakti devotion is to gradually delete your ego. But to understand that better, ego is not completely taken away from you. Ego becomes more and more purified. Ego that delights in negative things, hurting others, gossip, scandal, and all that. That's Tamasic ego. That ego you overcome and change occurs in you. Ego becomes more Rajasic. You want to do things that will make you successful, famous, well appreciated. Now your ego is in a Rajasic level. But then you go further. You begin to do meditation, japa, etc. And your ego becomes a support for you. You feel greater pride within yourself for having controlled your senses, having developed your discriminative vision. That type of ego is Sattwic, and it is not egoistic. Sattvic ego is transparent. Therefore, whatever ego accomplishes, it does not contradict God's presence. God flows through that ego. So that's what we need to understand. And with this we conclude. Om Shanti Shanti.
Thank you for joining us on this journey of spiritual growth. It's an honor to learn from the wisdom of Swami Jyotirmayananda. As we part for now, remember, the quest does not end. Take time to reflect on today's insights and integrate them into your life. Until next time, stay open, stay curious, stay present. The light within you is always shining.